The Psychedelic Furs and Ghost in You from the band's 1984 album Mirror Moves here on Q104.3's Out of the Box. You're with Jonathan Clark and lead singer of the Furs and now a new solo album, Richard Butler. How you doing, man?
Very well. How you doing?
Very good. Thank you so much for coming by and stopping by the show tonight. I want to speak with you about this new solo album you have out now, but the Furs put out, I guess, like 7 studio albums. Is that what it was? Something like that.
5.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
Big hits, obviously, with that song that I just played, Pretty in Pink, Love My Way, Heaven, and on and on and on. And the band, I guess, broke up at one point, or maybe a couple points, but recently you have actually reunited the Furs a few times.
Back, in the early days of the 80s, we used to break up on a daily basis.
Like after the gig. It's kind of like,
every gig was the last.
It's like I quit smoking every night when I go to bed.
Yeah, something like that, actually. No, but it wasn't really quitting the band. It was just I'd had enough. 10 years was enough and I needed a break. And
right.
I think we all did as well.
Yeah. So this will happen again in the near future, because I know you sort of reunited.
If we were together for 10 years at a stretch, it might happen again. Yeah.
But in 2001, I think you guys did a tour and things like that. And do you foresee that happening again in the future? I think you did a gig.
Oh no, we're touring a lot. Yeah. We're going to Australia at the end of June, and we did a tour last year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We're still touring.
So you have this new self-titled solo album out, and you've said recently that you've experienced a lot, both good and bad, over the past few years, which is sort of reflected in the music of this new album of yours. These songs, you said, are some of the most personal, important songs you've ever done. So talk about that.
Did I say important? Yeah, certainly some of the most personal songs I've done.
Right.
But that's largely because of the way the music was done. It was that they were written acoustically for the most part, and listening to the album, you'll see that it's fairly ambient a lot of the time.
Yeah, it is.
And so it very much lends itself to singing much more quietly. There's not a lot of music to compete with, and so I was singing very quietly, which in turn lends itself to being far more reflective and I guess self-searching a little. Was it sort of a departure for you, songwriting-wise? With the Furs, sound-wise.
With the Furs, was it always sort of like the band, like in a room, riffing things out, or was it
that? And different members of the band would bring songs to the table, as they say. But it was very much playing them live and rehearsing them live. You can't sing quietly.
Right. No, because I've heard other artists and bands come in there and say, we wrote this song on an acoustic guitar, and then it's a total rocker.
Yeah.
Because it takes a different sort of path when you get to the studio and record it. But other people, like you just said, you write something acoustically, sort of like gives it a veneer and a sort of direction maybe of how the song might go.
Well, early on, actually, in making this record, John Caron, the producer and co-writer of the songs, decided the way he wanted to do it was to use the music to frame the voice and the songs, rather than have the vocals just be a part of the music. So that's very much what it is.
Right. Hey, talk about this song that I really love on this new album of yours called California.
It was just this bizarre idea that, after, everything goes wrong in the world and it's not populated anymore, and it's just imagining this last person being alive on the planet, just, saying, what was it all worth it? What was love anything? Did it mean anything?
Right. And California,
I just wanted to pick on the California.
Well, it's Richard Butler from the Psychedelic Furs live in the studio with us tonight from his new solo album now. This is California, Out of the Box on Q104.3. Some brand new music from Psychedelic Furs lead singer Richard Butler's new self-titled solo album, and that song called California here on Q104.3's Out of the Box. I'm Jonathan Clark, live in the studio with Richard. Now, did I hear this correctly? You live in New York?
New York State.
New York State, not New York City.
No, I was in New York City until my daughter was born. And then I thought I should probably move out to the country.
Very nice. So you like living in New York then?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I love it.
And you've been kind enough to autograph a couple of these new CDs of yours. So what we should do is take callers 25 and 26 right now on the toll-free listener line at 1-888-872-1043 for an autographed CD and a pair of tickets to see you live at the Canal Room here in Manhattan this coming Saturday night, March 25th. So callers, good luck with that. So you're touring behind this solo album. That's different, I'm sure, than touring, say, with the Furs. What's the set like? How is it different? How is it similar?
It's much more acoustic based, and it's very much like the record. It's sort of vaguely ambient. There's not a big production. It's not like a drummer.
Okay.
And some of the songs will just be done on 2 guitars, and
okay.
There'll be a couple of Furs songs thrown in there, but mainly it's
excellent
stuff.
So another track on this new solo album of yours I've been playing, and I think you sort of touched on this theme before briefly. Good Days, Bad Days. Talk about that song.
It's very difficult to talk about the song. But a lot of the songs are, about isolation. I realised afterwards, I wasn't particularly feeling that isolated, but a lot of them use, things like, mapping space and, mapping the stars and, the last person on the earth. And this was just one about somebody finding themselves in a position they didn't want to be in, or at a time of their life they didn't want to be in and couldn't see a way out, and wanting to just undo everything.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, I think most people, when they see the title of the song and they hear the name of the song, they're like, yeah, I have good days, I have bad days.
Well, originally, the way I thought of the song was, as you'll hear, the verse is just a person saying they want to, undo everything, varying things they've done, and then the chorus was originally going to be like a Greek chorus of, a woman's voice saying, good days, there'll be good days, bad days, like, calm down, it's all going to be fine.
Right.
But I ended up doing that myself.
Well, it's Richard Butler live in the studio here on Q104.3's Out of the Box. 2 solo shows coming up with Richard, this Friday, March 24th at Maxwell's, and this Saturday, March 25th at the Canal Room right here in Manhattan. The new solo album, simply called Richard Butler. It's the first solo album for you, right?
Yeah. I'd planned to do one, or thought about doing one a long, long time ago, around like 1983, after Forever Now.
That's a long time ago.
It is. After Forever Now, and then I never got to do it then, and I thought about it periodically since, and never got around to it, but now it seemed like a good time to do it.
And now here we go. So I think you can go to kochrecords.com, but also your website is it richardbutleronline.com? Okay, good. So nice to meet you and hang out with you, and I really appreciate you coming by. I've been a fan of yours for so long, and a lot of our listeners are obviously fans of you and the Psychedelic Furs. We'll see you at those shows at Maxwell's and Canal Room this coming weekend. Here's another new one from Richard Butler, Good Days, Bad Days, and it's Out of the Box on Q104.3.
I want to unmake
Good Days, Bad Days is the song from Richard Butler's new solo CD here on Q104.3's Out of the Box. We do thank Richard again for stopping by the show tonight and hanging out with us. I'm Jonathan Clark, and Lee Rocker from the Stray Cats will check in with us in just a moment or so. And lots more new music, too, of course. I'm coming right back.